Now here's a quick entertaining one here about a guy who takes revenge and justice being served to a whole new level after finding out that his wife of 18 years, when she was at college and they were doing the long distance relationship thing, hooked up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 26 different guys that he wasn't aware of, and ranging from between 1 and 30 encounters per guy. So that's a whole lot of sausage in and out of her. And upon finding this out, even though it happened supposedly 18 years ago, that guy's acting like it happened yesterday. And, well, you'll see here his way of handling it and her reaction. And as you can imagine, or what you will find out, the comment section, people are losing their minds over him handling it this way. And, well, you'll see more. Title: Am I the a-hole from holding my wife accountable for cheating before marriage? And a shout out to Chris for sending me the story. He says, me and my wife began dating in secondary school, and even back then, we dreamt about married life. Smack! Bonehead. What we'd name our kids, where we live, etc. We were even each other's first. Well, you certainly weren't her last. When the time came for us to select universities, I did end up being offered a place at the same university that she had chosen. However, I was fortunate enough to receive a spot in one of the best universities in the world. The plan was always for her to be a stay-at-home mom, so we decided that I would accept the offer from the better university to maximize my earning potential while being in a long-distance relationship. During university, I tried to see her almost every weekend, and I thought our relationship was going well. So, even though it's long distance, which was a bad idea, he tried to see her as often as he could. And yet, during those times, well, he's going to learn what happened. Last week, we were at a party with some mutual friends reminiscing about growing up, and one of her friends let it slip that when she was wild at university. I almost missed it, but when I looked at my wife, her face was pale, and she was giving her friend the look. I decided not to make a big scene at the party or while we were driving home, but she could tell something was very wrong by the way I kind of shut down after that. You know how many stories I've done where guys have gotten together, with friends or your wife's friends or a girlfriend's friends, and they start yapping, they can start drinking, and they start reminiscing about the old days, and it starts slipping out about what she was like back in the day, or when he thought they were together, and you've heard variations to this story. It's amazing. This is not one I've done. When we got home, I checked that our sons, who are 12 and 15, were asleep before asking her point blank about what her friend had said, and that if I believed she was lying. If I believed she was lying, I would make her call this friend and then and there to discuss her university days while I listened. She went back and forth a little bit before eventually admitting that she was heavily involved in clubbing during university, and that had led to her having several hookups and even a few regular friends with benefit situations, but she maintained that she was just an immature kid back then, so I shouldn't hold against her. What a load of crap. I guarantee you, this guy wasn't hooking up with chicks. He was focusing on school, so when they got married, because they were planning their marriage from like the 7th grade or something ridiculous like that, he can provide a great life for her and the kids, and they live happily ever after. Well, that's only in the fairy tales. Meanwhile, she's getting hooked up with Chad and Tyrone's friends. Many, many times. And she's thinking, because it happened a long time ago, I was immature and stupid. Well, no, she was a legal adult. She knew what she was doing. And she lied to him and let him propose and marry her and be married all these years, her knowing that she's keeping that from him. That's terrible. At this point, I was afraid that I would do something I'd regret, so I immediately left the house to spend the night at the hotel. Very smart, dude. Very smart. Throughout the entire night, she was constantly messaging me and calling me, alternating between telling me that she loves me and then spewing every excuse in the book. Of course. Throughout all this, she maintained her opinion that it's no big deal, and things are different now because we're married. No, they're not. If he was banging a bunch of chicks or doing things that in her book were equally as awful, I guarantee you she wouldn't care if it happened 18 years ago. Though she maintained it was no big deal, how things are different now because we're married. They aren't different to me. The fact we've been married for 18 years makes absolutely no difference to the fact that she's a cheater. This entire time, I thought we shared something special, that we were both each other's first and only, but it was all a lie. Think about that, guys. You're with her. He was with her long before they got married, like his whole life, really thought they had something special, and to find out she's a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, and the amount of sausage coming in and out of her, God almighty, makes the Oscar Mayer wiener plant look like a slow day compared to all the sausage and meat coming in her. I mean, God almighty, that'd be heartbreaking. I spent a few days thinking about it and went as far as meeting with one of my friends, a divorce attorney. Despite everything, I still love her and want to reconcile, but I can't and won't subject myself to a marriage where I feel like this, where I feel disgust every time I look at her. Dude, it's not going to get any better. I feel like I waited for her despite having options while she made me the butt of a joke. So the day before yesterday, I sat down with her with a sheet of paper and a pen while her sons were at her parents'. Then I told her to write down the names of the men she slept with and an estimate of the number of times. There is no way in 18 years she is going to remember the name of all the guys that she hooked up with. Guarantee, let alone the amount of encounters. She's going to have a ballpark number, and that ballpark number, guarantee, isn't close to what the real number is. If she couldn't remember their names, just write down fake ones. I warned her that if I ever found out that she lied about the numbers, I would divorce her on the spot so she should be as accurate as possible. In the end, it came out to around 26 men ranging from 1 to 30 encounters. So let's just say, for argument's sake, 26 men, and I don't believe that number for a second, but let's find 26. And between 1 to 30 encounters, let's just say 10. So that'd be 260 times someone else's sausage was coming in and out of her. This poor guy. We all know it's probably way higher. Then I explained to her that what I want to do to reconcile. However, I have terms. Since she believes that sleeping with others in a committed relationship is totally fine, I would be sleeping with 26 women the same number of times as she had just admitted to, at times of my choosing without informing her. Well, as funny as this is not a good idea. Marriage is over, let's be honest, but this is funny. This was non-negotiable condition of our reconciliation, and that if she had disagreed, to tell me right now, then and there, or I would have my lawyer start drafting the paperwork. At first, she just looked at me bewildered before beginning to shout and cry about how it's different now and that we're married and I would be cheating. Well, it's not cheating if she gives the permission, as in, like, obviously under duress. Hey, you said it was no big deal back then. I told her that since I'm telling her about it in advance, then it's not cheating, and if she agrees to it to preserve our marriage, I would interpret it as consent. Well, if that's his fucked up terms to make him not go away, then it's not cheating. She's just agreeing to it. Since then, she's been trying to change my mind, crying every day and night before having fits of anger, offering anything I want except that. But nothing is going to move me. She either accepts it or we divorce. I've given her till the end of the week, Friday, to come to a decision. He posted the story like a week ago. I know it's going to come up, so let me address it here and now. I have no issue with getting a divorce. I'm still young enough that I could meet someone new. On top of that, I own a few businesses, which put me in a touch with some very savvy attorneys that will help me reduce my taxable income as much as possible, and other smart business decisions that, as a bonus, also protect most of my assets in a divorce. I'll pay more than whatever is necessary in child support to ensure my kids are well taken care of, but she'll be getting the bare minimum in alimony. The way I see it, I wouldn't have married her if I'd known she cheated, so she shouldn't benefit from our marriage. Am I wrong for potentially throwing away a marriage of 18 years for infidelity that happened before we married? So, I'm going to answer two questions of whether you're wrong or not. No, you're not wrong to end this marriage because of what she did, okay? I don't care if it was 18 years ago or 18 minutes ago. She lied to you. This happened. It wasn't a mistake. This happened 26 dudes, as she claims, and then the many times with each dude. That's a whole lot of mistakes. Bullshit. Your marriage and your life is not what you thought it was. She lied to you, lying by omission, all that shit. Manipulated, broke your... No, you have every right to end it. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Your terms and conditions for you to stay and reconcile that you get to bang 26 chicks in the amount of times you want, which... I'm sure you're a good-looking guy and do well for yourself, but you're probably going to end usually paying for it. You're by professionals. As funny as that is, and it's making her lose her mind, that's a terrible fucking idea, because the marriage is over. Really, you're going to bang 26 chicks. The whole house is going to be in chaos. Your kids are going to be seeing, your kids are obviously going to know that everything's in chaos and all that. And then she'll be able to tell everybody what you did and make you out to be the bad guy, because most people are going to side with her that it was when she was college and she was young and dumb. But you as a grown-ass adult and father are doing this now. You'll be painted the bad guy here. The best way to move away from this whole thing is you divorce her, end the story, and move on, start over. And if you're a marriage relationship guy, you end up getting together with younger women more beautiful than her. But staying in a marriage with those terms, as amusing as that is a horrible idea. Think about the big picture. I know you're pissed and hurt. And think about your boys, because that could tarnish everything with them, and you don't want that. So you're not the a-hole for wanting to end it, but it's foolish to try to make this work. And you're never going to trust her again anyway, and you're never going to see her the same. It's over. Move on, end of story. You're still young enough. You got plenty of lead in your pencil, and you can enjoy your life. And let me tell you guys, I'm not going to read comments. You can read it on your own and look it up. But let me tell you, there are a lot of people tearing him apart about this whole thing. So anyhow, pretty entertaining one here.